Man, there was water that we had never seen before. It was high.
12 inches, 14 inches, 24 inches, almost to biblical levels.
It was pretty rough. It was, of course, a lot of rain and everything, high winds. When I was pulling out of the plant, it was about up to my headlights on my truck. And when I got up on I-10 heading home, and everything was already completely underwater.
How did the storm impact your employees away from the plant?
Well, you can imagine that a storm like Harvey was unprecedented. It dumped 5 feet of rain. Entire communities were inundated. So not only were they impacted here at work as they were trying to get the facility ready for the storm, but many of them faced situations at home where the water was rising and they had families, kids, and people to take care of. And so they were worried about their place of employment, and they were worried about their homes as well. Folks like Rusty and Jason were out helping them, and there are stories like theirs across the whole company, across the whole community.
So what prompted you guys to jump into action to help your family and friends and neighbors?
Well, I was wanting to get involved somehow because I knew a lot of people were getting displaced already because of floodwater. The Chambers County Sheriff's Department come to my house that morning and wanted me to go with the paramedics or take a paramedic with me in my airboat to get to some of the houses to check on some of the people that were putting in 911 calls for rescues and needing medications and stuff. So,
Other folks like you in the industry doing the same sorts of things?
yeah, just quite a few people.
We had a world-scale hurricane hit the Gulf Coast. How did you prepare for Hurricane Harvey?
Chet, at all of our Gulf Coast refineries, we've got very explicit and very detailed hurricane response plans. And they cover everything from preparation through the storm itself and through post-storm activities.
What types of things did you do to get your personnel ready and prepared for the storm?
Well, like every year, come the beginning of hurricane season, we go through drills, we brush off our procedures and our preparations. We get generators in place, and we make sure we go through our checklists. And then when an imminent storm comes in, we take those checklists to a new level where we'll look at, do we have chemicals in place? Do we know what units we might have to shut down? We get crews in place. And do we allow them to go home and take care of their families? Because they need to get their families tucked in so they can then concentrate on their job.
What was the mood like here at the facility as the storm approached?
You can imagine, everybody's worried about what's going to happen to them, on the outside, their own homes, their families' homes, the people that they know. So it's a very stressful time on everybody. But given the storm and kind of the way we saw it happening, we kept kind of a group of people. And we got them cots, we got them food, shampoo, toothbrush, and things like that so they could be comfort here. But we needed the people on site just to manage all the issues that were in front of us.
Tell me about your ride-out crew.
The ride-out crew is here for one purpose, to make sure post-storm we can do a very quick analysis of any damage, call corporate resources in if we need to help us get the workforce back in the plant and start coming back up. We want to come up as quickly as possible.
What were the facility's priorities through the storm?
Well, our priorities really don't change during a storm. It's safety of our workforce and the public and the environment.
Are there any lessons learned so far coming out of Harvey that you'll apply towards this year's hurricane season?
Chad, it's all about continuous improvement. I think the thing that we learned with this one was, hey, how do we take a extreme, enormous amount of rain and handle that better?
We're looking at projects to what can we do to manage our stormwater here. In addition, we're working with the city. What can we do to help the city, help their pump system so the water doesn't back up? We got to get the water continue to going out as well as it continue to leave in the city.
As soon as the storm clouds started to clear and the search and rescue aircraft could get in the air, it was our jet fuel that went out to keep those things wet so that they could stay in the air, find those that needed the help, and get rescued to them.
What are you most proud of?
The thing that I'm most proud of is how we help our people. I mean, when you go out to somebody's house and you can see in their eyes that they're completely overwhelmed by the fact that everything they own is on the lawn, and we can help them, you don't get a better feeling than that. So any way that we can help them by bringing them supplies, by bringing volunteers to help them get their home stabilized, so they can stabilize their lives, and then they can help us come back and run the refinery.
Oh my gosh, my husband and I we were just floored. We were just really amazed by how this company had stepped up and really helped us. And if you really want to know the caliber of the people, the heart that was given to us, the amount of volunteers and the work that they did, they were our angels. We could never have gotten as far as we got without the help from my fellow employees.
I'm so thankful. I don't even know where, I don't even know what we would do. And the Bay guys came in yesterday and just started chopping up the tree. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get it off your house and we're gonna bring a crane in. I'm just very, very thankful that I work for such a great company.
Right away, very quickly, we put together a $1.5 million package to provide funds to local agencies like the United Way, a broad spectrum of relief agencies. We even helped people get reunited with their pets. You can imagine that when people have to leave their homes quickly and they may be separated from their animals.
At the height of the storm, 25% of all U.S. refining capacity was down. And less than a month later, most of it was back online. What does that tell you about the industry, about the resiliency?
It's incredible, and it's an example of a can-do attitude and our ability to prepare for these events. It wasn't simply that these refineries faced a storm and came back up online once the rain went away and the power came back online. Many of these refineries were literally underwater and had to go through a very significant recovery effort on their equipment and instrumentation before they could come back online. So to get all of that capacity back online as quickly as it did was nearly remarkable.
What do you think that told you about the resiliency of the industry?
It's phenomenal. This was not an insignificant storm with the amount of capacity that was taken offline in the Gulf Coast. To be able to quickly respond to that, get product back into the market and get things back to normal. You hit the word, resiliency.